This is the first match.
Yes, Peter, I was just going to say, this young fella, quite a remarkable swing, but he grows in stature and confidence. You'll see how severely upright he picks the backswing, and then gives it a real wallop, almost throws himself off his feet, although he's taking only a metal 3 here. Holding the club face open, hoping it's not going to fold up to the left, but hold it as he would, it didn't have any effect. He's probably in the bunker, I'm not sure.
You'll be hoping he is, not in that lovely gorse I was just describing to you.
Brings joy to some, Peter, gosh.
No.
Never when you're in it, not when it's prickling you.
Thomas Bjorn. This is the final game. Checker and Bjorn, Clark and Westwood. Clark and Westwood 1 up. Nice looking stroke. And not a bad line. But Thomas, he again played some very good golf at Augusta. 1 or 2 dodgy moments, but all in all, good ball striking. Nice to see him back in harness, having been a little bit injured.
Well, there's what happens on the left side of the 6th. Now, Kieran Monaghan, who's in our team this week. Kieran, you're there. Tell us about this one.
Hi, Alex. This is Kieran out here on the 4th hole. The wind is freshening here quite a lot this afternoon, and both players, Jacqueline is going to have to, Jacqueline will have a clear shot to the green. Unfortunately, McKinley will not. He's under a tree and will have to play out sideways.
Jacqueline, that's a nice swing also. Just pushing it up towards the green. Oh, hit the flag, or sounded as if it clipped something when it landed. Just off the back. Sound as if it just clipped the flagpole as it went by. Well directed shot from the rough.
Now McGinley has a very difficult shot here. Tree is going to totally restrict a backswing, so he's only going to try and nudge it out and maybe get it to chase down the fairway.
Well, he was really well and truly stuffed there. He had no chance at all of doing anything, but that's what happens when you go off the fairway and you've got the newly planted trees just dotted hither and thither. I think in a few years' time, when they have grown, and in a few weeks when the leaves are on the trees in the background there, it will all fill in and look entirely different.
Challenging shot for Steve Webster here. That he's had a long chat with his playing partner Paul Casey, who's put him over on the right-hand side of the fairway on this par 5, 517 yards. He's hit a great shot here, 240 to find the front edge into the wind. Maybe leak that a fraction.
Well, that did very well, because I fancy it might have just clipped a little inch or so off that fir tree in front of him. There looked as if a little bit of leaf or something dropped as the ball passed the tree, so that may have taken a little bit of steam out of it. There you see there's wonderful banks of gorse, which are a tremendous feature here. Absolutely lovely.
And this is not an easy shot either for Ola Tharbel, despite the fact that he's on the fairway. He's got a quite severely sloping lie with the hitting it off a downslope, trying to get the ball up and into, as Kieran was saying, an ever-freshening breeze. It really is quite strong now, and it's quite a cold wind too. The ball not going as far as you might expect because of that. He's a master of the long iron, but this requires some skill.
Well, he opted to lay up short of the green at this fifth. It's the hole I was describing earlier, where there's a band of rough right across the front, pot bunkers on the front right. So laying up is probably the wise option. Anyone who has a go at this has an awful lot to do to reach the green.
It's an awkward little shot here.
Where's he going to jump?
And it's going to no, it's going to settle in the thickish rough.
Well, he did spawn the brooms.
Carlson, 6'5" of him. Andrew Alcorn also just got to chip it out. Oh, the wind may be freshening, but we've seen sort of curate's egg of golf so far. Good in parts and very raggedy in others. Hello. Yeah, I thought he clipped the flag or something. My old eyes aren't as bad as my family think.
About there, boys, about there.
Yeah, I thought it clipped something. It damn near pitched right in the hole. Oh, look at that. What gentle fingers. Ian, any news for us? Pitched in the edge of the hole.
Yes, Peter, he did hit the flag, in fact, and was a bit unlucky that the ball ran to the back of the green.
Well, he's damaged the side of the hole, which has been repaired or patted back together again. Now, of course, if the hole is very severely damaged, there might be a case for cutting a new one, in which case they'd do it within a foot or two of where it is at the moment, and it's only affecting this game. So you don't often see that, but I heard a clatter. Let's have another look at it. If we can slow it down and see where it hits the flag. Might have gone down the flag, and then instead of jamming into the hole, it ricocheted off right on target. There, so it pitched at the bottom of the flag. It could have dived a millimetre or a centimetre or a kilometre, whatever they are, either way, and that might have gone in.
We got him in a third shot to the fifth. He's got 71 to the pin here. Again, into the wind. He's going to just have to be careful with the spin here.
Well, spin it certainly has. It's taken it back down the green. It's got a couple of ridges now to come across. And as so many of the greens on this course, a little plateau. Very exacting third shot here, Julian.
It is, and we saw it with Olafable on the third, that this wind is very gusty. And 1 minute it doesn't feel as though it's there too much, and the next minute it really hits get a big gust, and if that hits the ball, it can make it look rather silly. But in fact, if anything, I think it's blowing stronger and a bit more consistently now. You'll be delighted to know in the box that these boys are playing foursomes the way it's supposed to be played. The two that are not hitting, walking on up the fairway to be ready to play their next shot. Paul Casey, of course, has done that in the Walker Cup, and he certainly is setting that example.
Well, it's a good example to set. He might catch up with the match ahead rather quickly, though, on this occasion. Doesn't like it. No, he's failed completely with that. That was not even a misjudgment, that was a mishit. So, both with difficult putts, but the Great Britain and Ireland side with the more difficult of the two.
Neve now from the back of the green, his partner having smacked into the flag and crashed into the edge of the hole with his second shot. And you can see on the edge of the hole there, you can see the damage just dead and straight of us, in front of us.
You can see the narrow fairways here at Druids Glen, and some of them only about 15 paces across. Colin Montgomery, third shot at the sixth hole. It measures 476 yards. The hole, although it's still a par 4. Now this is the third shot at the sixth, fast. He's not made it. That's an awkward wee one that he's left Robert Carlson there, up and over the little bump.
Just a moment to give a mention to the English Blind Golf Association, who are having their finals today at the Burton Golf Club in Staffordshire. I, along with a lot of my colleagues, are a patron of the blind golf. It's quite amazing how well they play. So I know they'll be presenting prizes about 5:30 this afternoon, and the prizes have been presented by Nigel Clough, Brian's son. So I hope you've had a good day up there at Burton, and wonderful golf has been played. I have the greatest admiration for you, and I hope you've got a good winner. I'm sure you have. McGinley now to halve the hole. Looks good, fading. Just fading offline. This is a very testing golf course. A lot of people, a number of people think it's sort of ornamentally rather grand, but there are some very testing holes here.
Now Robert Carlson with that little tricky chip over the bank I referred to, and absolutely spot on line. It'll be a 5, and the opposition will have a putt to win the hole.
The 6th. Old Corn to win the hole, and he may be asked. His partner may be asked. To half. Match is all square. So every game out on the course at the moment level. They move away. We go to Darren Clark. Down the hill at the 4th. I see it not. Had a Michael Owen haircut. All in fashion now, those 1949 haircuts. 4th green, and up he goes. That's better. Just been joined by Ken Brown, who's been out having a look around. And Ken, the conditions are getting a little trickier.
Yeah, certainly a bit more air movement at the top of the trees, a bit more breeze about. Course drying out nicely. Sun poking in and out at times.
Well, the course sort of goes up and down and through some little valleys and under little ledges and things, so you get wind conditions just changing. Trees, not all the trees are in full leaf by any means, and there have been quite a number planted over the years, particularly around fine old clubhouse, Woodstock House. Here's Ollie at the 5th.
Misjudging the little tear in the green. Middle of the morning, it was quite warm out there, but getting a little chillier.
All 4 matches, all square. And a nice sprinkling of spectators. I think we may get considerably more for the weekend if the weather stays dry. Forecast is not bad. Sort of bank of weather coming in across the Atlantic, which is hitting the west coast. Whether it veers off and goes across the northern part of the country and then over to the west coast of Scotland is yet to be seen. This looks like Westwood perched up on the bank. That's where Clark's second shot ended. Awkward little shot. He'll pitch it on the green though. You're pitching from high ground to low, the ball usually stops a little bit quicker. Yeah. Always give it a bit more. They're making a bit of a rickets of this, but it can all be saved by Clark holding a nice putt. Paul Lorry and Ian Woosnam rested from this morning's play. Casey and Old Corn coming in for them. Giving this a good long look. The greens here, Ken, on the whole, relatively flat, aren't there? There seem to be quite large areas of flattish green with little runs in between. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, little areas they can tuck the pin away. There's not any massive great breaks, and the green's running about 10 on the stimp meter, so a tidy pace but not terribly quick. See the different stripes on the greens. When the dark stripe is looking at you, that means the grass is growing towards you, makes the putt a little slower. With the shiny stripe, it's a bit quicker. That's the way the grass is lying down. Foursome's never an easy game.
Porrick Harrington now with 258 yards to the front of the screen. No hope of reaching. It's an interesting thing that this morning they were on this green with a drive and a 4-iron, and now it's a layup.
What did they have at lunch then? What have they taken something to slow them down, Ken?
I don't know, Alex.
God, am I sounding like Alex now? God, it is time to pack it in.
Sorry, Peter. Thomas Levey also going to lay up. Six-iron for him.
Is it purely the strength of the wind, Ken, and that stopped? I mean, you say a drive and a 4-iron this morning, and now 2 full blows and you're still 30 yards to go. Is it just purely the wind change of direction, or what?
Well, conditions this morning, Peter, were very benign, but this afternoon now it's changed quite a lot. And this hole, as I say, they were on with drive and 4-iron this morning, but it's no hope of getting up in 2 here today. And Jacqueline hit a wonderful tee shot.
Well, nicely positioned for a pitch across the corner of the bunker. A little slope. You can just see the dark area 2 or 3 yards to the right of the flag.
Darren for his part. No one wriggled by. Missed quite a few this morning as well, this partnership. You want to check out? 1 up.
Europe are 1 up.
Colin Montgomery down the hill at the 7th. Second shot, 405 yards this hole. Nicely on this hole, down into the corner. You can see far less wind, although the flag's just fluttering a little bit. This is match 1. Montgomery and Old Corn, Fast and Carlson. Alex was saying, Ken, that Fast has an interesting swing. I go further than that. At times, certain shots, he looks almost ungainly when he gets through the ball, as if he's trying to find a finish. You know, there, you see, that wasn't too bad. The poise there was quite good. But on other occasions, he looks as if he's searching for something, waiting for the photographer to leap out of the woods and take a picture or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he sometimes loses his balance. Downhill hole, this par 4, 405 yards. Little draw off the tee. The bunker on the right-hand side is a very popular spot. You don't want to miss the fairway on the left because some deep trees there. The second down the hill to a smallish green.
Eleventh has missed the 6th fairway by a mile right, and Jimenez now has got, well, I wouldn't say quite hit and hope, but there's a lot of luck required here. He's got to go down the right-hand side of the large line of trees and gorse that line the right-hand side of the fairway, and help get the wind, which is off the right anyway, to help him over those trees and round with a gentle draw onto the green. He's got at least 185 to the front. Up the line of the gorse is about the line.
Well, he
Oh,
gave
he's
it.
hit trees.
Did he clip the trees, Jules?
Yeah, it didn't get halfway. He's hit trees and pulled it down.
Well, he certainly hit it as hard as he possibly could, and just Julian Tutt, who's following this game, reports that it clipped the trees. It may not have got through. This may be the end of their interest in this hole, but you never know.
.169 to the front for Paul Casey from the left rough. Ball sitting down a little bit. It's liable to fly a bit out of there. Pin only 7 yards on, over on the left-hand side. Heart of the green would be good here.
Well, superb shot. 6 or 7 feet from the hole. Beautifully played. Paul Casey and Steve Webster against Jimenez and Olazabal.
Jacqueline's third. He's got to carry it on top of the tier and get the ball to grip, and he's carried it a fraction too far. Jacqueline, who's been steadily improving on the tour over the last 3 years. 2 Frenchmen playing together today.
McGinley. Third shot. No. Oh, rather fortunate. It stuck. Might so easily have spun back. McGinley, who played very well at the Masters last week. His first appearance. Doing 71s and 72s. And quite a test under poorish weather conditions. He did exceptionally well.
Outside chance of a 3 for Carlson at the 7th. Pretty well judged.
So it's a very tight afternoon. These afternoon foursomes, 2 apiece. At the end of the morning's play, the morning Greasomes, now only Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn are ahead in the afternoon matches, ahead against Darren Clark and Lee Westwood. All the other matches are all square.
Levy for his 4. Still early in the season, and the greens perhaps not quite as true as they would be in a month or so's time. We certainly have no complaints about the condition of the golf course.
Jimenez. He's been left with 2 or 3 very tricky little shots into the green, and well, that's a pretty good shot.
Barrington. Chance to go 1 up. That looks like it might just be a give. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to take halves. Foursome's a different player. Sometimes use different manufacturer's ball. You're only allowed to use one type. Others decide on a half.
Just decided whose bat it was, and I almost wondered up to pick it up. Let's get on. Webster and Casey 1 up, and Checker and Bjorn 1 up. The other 2 matches are level. And the first match now have reached the 8th. It's fast holding out to halve. And here they are at the 8th.
Beautiful par 3. The pin today 10 on 4 from the left hand side, tight to the water.
Oh, that's a cracking shot, Ken.
Right over the flag. Little area added quite recently, the front left of the green. There used to be a little bunker there, not there anymore. Levelled the area out so they could put the flag close to that water.
Another chance to view this very interesting swing. I think it looks the most ungainly when he's got a shot of about 100 yards. But he's got tremendous confidence in his own ability, and he's got good stout nerves. He could well be a star at the Belfry Ryder Cup later in the year. You never know. Keeps doing that, he will be. Very nice little corners, very attractively laid out. Say some think it's rather ornamental and a bit Chelsea flower showish, but there are some where it's more natural, I think, Ken. Don't you agree with the natural gorse and the trees and the bushes that are natural to this part of the world makes it most attractive?
Yes, I'm a big fan of using indigenous plants rather than all sorts of varieties.
Those are the ones that don't lose their leaves.
The deciduous ones.
Oh, I see. That's what an education does for you. That could spin back. It nearly did. Some nice little things that look like they masquerade. That could be azaleas. Bit of an azalea or back end of a rhododendron.
A lovely bright green of the horse chestnut trees. The leaves coming out.
There's a little drinking well not far from the 9th, you know, with the purest water you've ever tasted in your life flows out of there. 5th green. Thomas Bjorn. Come on. No. Well, not quite as severe as Augusta. That would have been back off the fairway there, but that's not bad at all. Awkward spot in the bunker. Tucked up a bit under the face. His partner, Checker, just misjudged his 3rd shot into the green. There's Big John coming in the back. John Paramore, referee. One of the most senior referees in the world of golf. Shadow gets no less, does it?
No. Just pacing out to see who's furthest from the hole.
Yeah, very technical. Wonder what that measures on the Richter scale. John sort of marching across there. Do you think it shows up sort of slight tremor in Turkey?
You certainly wouldn't want him to walk down your line, would you?
Well, I love John. We were having a long chat this morning. He broke his leg fooling about with 11-year-old children playing football in Spain. He's got 2 massive great screws through his left leg and a gigantic scar, 12 weeks off. That'll teach him to try and play soccer against 10 and 11-year-olds. But he and all the other referees on the European Tour do a super job under not always the most easy conditions.
Seventh green and some repair work going on here. You were talking about recutting the hole, Peter. I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, that makes sense. For those of you write in and say, what do they do? How do they cut a new hole? You see, oh well, we'll see. We'll show you show you what they do later on. This is Checker. Checker, one of the best ball strikers on the European circuit. If he does have a weakness, it's putting. He doesn't hold as many putts as some lesser strikers. Westwood hasn't found his form yet, Ken.
It's creeping back. I think he's gaining in confidence. Made the last 2 cuts in the US Tour. You've got to play reasonably well to do that.
Yeah, but we expect so much more, I suppose, don't we? He's such a talented ball striker and has shown us in the past what a good control over his nerves he has. So he's certainly not afraid of success.
This to win the hole. Clark and Westwood currently 1 down. On line, beautifully hold. Levels the game. Sometimes takes a day of competition when you've been putting on some very fast greens to adapt to the slightly slower ones.
Andrew Oldcorn for a 2 at the 8th. Result of Montgomery's tee shot. No. Well, that was a bit of a diddler. A PGA champion. I've been cursed with ill health over the last few years. Slowed him down. This for a 2. Carlson. Saw that one move. Seemed to strike it all right. Quite
a lot of head scratching over putts. People that think they've hit a good putt and all ought to have gone in.
Paul Casey's put his partner in a spot of bother here on the 7th. Really awkward shot for Webster. He's only got 111 to the front, and he's already seen Olazabal finding the green, albeit somewhere long way left of the pin. So he's got to be thinking in terms of they need a par. It's a question of whether he tries a really almost ridiculous shot to get it on the green, or whether he just finds the fairway short and hope to get up and down. This is the hole that's been moved a metre left. It's still exactly the same distance on the green, but just 1 metre left of where it was.
Oh, some shot there. And the hole has been moved because it was damaged when Leve played onto the screen, hit the flag right at the bottom and crushed into the edge of the hole. Tore the edge out of it.
Second match out, Olazabal. It was moments ago. That's how he found the green. Pin high left, some 35 feet away.
Inley. Gripping well down the shaft. You can see the 2 or 3 inches of club above his left hand. Really fly to that, tried to hook it, run it up. Good shot. Just not enough fire in the ground, but that's a very good result. He's left his partner a tricky little chip over the corner of the green.
Eighteenth in last week's Masters. It was the top 16 that gets you back again, so a little unfortunate there.
Well, missed out by one, I think. Old Corn. Tee shot at the 9th. Pushed it a bit, has he? No, he's okay. 389 yards. Slightly uphill, largish green. Carlson.
Jättebra.
And fine shot.
Jimenez is having a look at his putt across the green. Reasonably flat putting surface, this one of the smaller greens on the golf course. Very upright putting action.
Birdie attempt by Jimenez for well, potentially a half, because the English pair are considerably closer.
New hole recently cut on this green and hasn't been painted yet. All the others are painted on the golf course. It's rather noticeable when you see a hole that's just got the brown mud around the edge.
Yes, Andy McPhee, who was supervising the move, said don't paint it because they were waiting to play their second shot, so he didn't want to take any more time. And he's moved it a metre away so that the old hole doesn't have too much influence on the new hole.
Conor Montgomery. Second to the 9th, match all square. Short iron. Yep.
Who was that?
Colin Montgomery, Old Corn, they're partnering each other. Against Fast and Carlson. Carlson hit a big drive up this hole.
Birdie putt just for a win. Playing most of his golf so far this season, Paul Casey in America.
Now Fast up to the 9th. Montgomery in there about 6-7 paces from the hole.
Good short arm player, Fast. Fizzes them in low.
Yeah, good shot. All steady. That's okay.
Runner up in the Open, Royal Lytham St Anne's. He finished 3 shots behind David Duval, the highlight so far of his career. Of course, He'll be looking to the Ryder Cup matches at the Belfry in September. Rookie player there. Got a house in Monaco, as a lot of the Swedes have. I'm not sure whether that's for financial reasons.
Monaco? Oh, I shouldn't think so. Just to sit and gaze at the yachts in the harbour.
You can recognise the Scots from the Swedes right away.
Slightly paler.
Webster and Casey remain one up in that match against Jose Maria Olazabal and Miguel Angel Jimenez.
8 iron for Webster, 150 yards to the pin. You've got to be careful here not to come back into the water. That's pretty good. Wind hard off the right. Pin only 10 yards on, and there's a slope back down from the pin into the water.
This is a multi-sponsored event, as you might have gathered by the amount of different famous names you see dotted around the course. Well, he's bound to have 2 fierce practice swings. Usually does. He's thinking about it, Ken.
He'll definitely have lost the wind a little bit. The tee are reasonably sheltered. You can see with that little stiff-wristed waggle, he's trying to give himself a bit more width in his swing, particularly on the backswing. Take the club away a bit more wider from the ball.
1, 2, you know. He and Bob Charles must have more practice swings than any other 2 golfers in the history of the game. Both of them beautiful players. Tee shot on its way. This side, he and Jimenez are 1 down. Oh, that's a beauty. Lovely shot.
Harrington has chipped up to here. This is for a half. Paul McGinley either misreading it a little bit or pushing it.
Carlson for a birdie at the 9th. Oh, yes, sir. Beautifully done. So out in 34. Now Oldcorn for a birdie to halve the hole. Nope. So Continental Europe 1 up after 9.
So once again, the captain, Colin Montgomery, this time in partnership with Andrew Oldcorn, being given a tremendous battle. Monty beaten this morning alongside Paul Lawrie, and now trailing to Nicholas Fath and Robert Carlson after that birdie at the 9th. And elsewhere, well, Seve Ballesteros would have expected points from Jimenez and Olazabal, but they lost this morning, and they're currently trailing to Steve Webster and Paul Casey. And from the French pairing, well, pars at the 4th and the 6th, enough to put Jacquelin and Levay ahead against Porrick, Harrington and Paul McGinley. And as we saw a short time ago, that great putt from Lee Westwood at the 5th, getting their match with Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn back to all square. And of course the overall match position 2-all from the morning greensomes, and pretty evenly balanced this afternoon.
Down the 10th hole. Looking down the 10th hole, 440 yards. Little dog leg round, fine tree on the left-hand side. Newly planted trees hither and thither. Course has only been here about 7 years, so still, by golfing standards, immature, young in many ways, but some fine mature trees and some very good holes. Course created by Pat Reddy and Tom Craddock. And they did a very, very nice job on this golf course.
Fast teeing off on the even holes. This tee shot requires a bit of right to left, a bit of draw. There's a big tree on the corner of the dog leg. Fast Carlson out in 34, one under the par. Pretty good in foursomes.
I think foursome golf is delightful, and it's not played as often as I think it should be, because it teaches you a lot about yourself and a partner, how to actually play the game, thinking of your partner, where to go, how to get the job done.
Slippery putt for Casey. Just judging it badly. Bound to be feeling a little bit nervous. First time he's represented his country as a professional.
To the 10th, Montgomery. Good shot.
For a 2.5, even the match up. I thought he'd pulled it, but it wiggled in the left-hand side to all square. Gorgeous tee shot from Eleventh, drawing it into that tight left pin.
Seve, second, the 7th. 405 and a good shot. Harrington now. Well tried combination, these two, Harrington and McGinley. We'll have to do a bit better than that. That was very wavered by his high standards.
From the corner of the dogleg at number 9, looking back across the valley to the tee. White structure is a suspension bridge that you walk across. And most players hit a 3-wood off this tee. There's a bunker up the left-hand side, 270 yards to reach that, so you take a club that won't reach it. Big hook, and needs to be blocked out there by the trees. Might just be far enough back.
I think he's totally blocked out, Ken. It looks horrible from a distance.
There's that bunker on the left-hand side up the fairway. That's what they try and lay up short of, and Jimenez has hit it left of that.
Casey with an iron. He's really is a splendid ball striker. We're very fortunate to suddenly have some young players, Doherty and Luke Donald's another one, who show great promise for the future. England went through a patch of not having many good young players. That's not bad. Back to the drawing. Spanking and to bed with no supper, I feel, Ken.
Yeah, when the opposition hit it to a problem area, you don't want to follow them in.
Not with an iron, no. No, sir, no, sir. McGinley now. Awkward pitch. Coming down the hill where you see the 2 or 3 different shades of green. He's got to pitch it somewhere just around about the edge of the green, or maybe just a bit short. Didn't quite get it far enough. We didn't need much more. Blame your partner. No, you must never do that in foursome golf either, to form any sort of good relationship.
Darren Clark's missed a few of these today, but not this one.
Bring the hole in all Great Britain on to 1 up.
1 up, Clark and Westwood.
Now you can see the gallery, the more and more players, spectators coming in.
McGinley had a very difficult shot in here from the right-hand side. He had to land it on the bank and judge it. But now this putt for Harrington for a par. This putt will just swing very marginally from left to right. Very little break on this 7th green. Flat green.
Oh, that was a saver. The great secret is knowing where to leave your partner. Thank you, partner, for holding an 18-footer. Were you a good foursomes player, Ken?
Not bad. I could hit it on the fairway off the tee and
Hold a few putts?
hold a few putts. Yeah, I was a few partners in the Ryder Cup matches over the years. Bernard Langer was a good one for foursomes.
Oh, I should think so, because I formed a wonderful partnership with Christy O'Connor from Royal Dublin. He and I were both not renowned as being the greatest holer out, so we holers out from 4 or 5 feet, or 3 or 4 feet, so we always were very mindful of getting the long putts up close and never apologising. I said it once the first time we ever played together. He said, as long as I continue to think you're trying your best, shut up and let's get on with it. And that's what we did for 20 odd years. And it worked very well.
Well done, Raphael Jacqueline.
I saw that film Barbarella the other night on one of those lakes. He looks a bit like John Philip Law, the fellow who played the Angel. I suppose you're a bit too young to remember Barbarella and a young Jane Fonda. But she were grand.
Big tee shot. Carlson making the most of it with his second to the 10th.
Behind her. Well, Steve Webster, actually, although his ball is not lying very well sitting down in the rough, he's got a shot to the green here. He can't see the pin. 162 to the pin, but it's well on at the back. And he's just got to go over the tree in front of him. And he has the comfort of knowing that Ola Tharber's got no shot at all. Oh, lovely shot.
Drove very well this morning, playing with Ian Woosnam. Woosnam taking most of his tee shots.
Ola Tharber asked for a ruling here to try and get a drop away from the tree, but wasn't given. And he's got no option here. He's got nowhere to go. Just get it back out on the fairway. Call up Phil Mickelson.
Never easy to judge these shots. He's trying to get it back on the fairway, so his partner might have been not one inside 5 or 6 feet and save a par. Don't want to be too ambitious either. Just well, might have just hit it far enough. Montgomery just left of the 10th green, a fast little chip. Whoop, whoop. Fast and Carlson 1 up on the Scottish partnership. Montgomery and Old Corn through 9 holes. Perfect tee shot from Darren Clark, and Westwood with his approach. Clark taking the tee shots on the odd holes, Westwood on the evens.
Up to the 10th hole, Nicholas Fast. Well, now that's a little bit aggressive. He's an aggressive player, as we all know.
Miguel Angel Jimenez just pulling away from his shot, having looked as though he was about to hit. And he's not too short here. The tree in front of him is not a very big tree, but it's quite close, and he's got to get it up fairly quickly. He's still got 145 to the pin. And just as happened for the English boys, this is liable to come out flying. Oh, it's hit the tree.
Yes, we saw it hit that tree, jump down just almost at right angles. Clearing away a few of the debris.
Old Corn for a half. Oh, looking a little nervous on it, but finds the cup. I say for a half, there's just a little bit of work to do for the 2 Swedes.
Oh, a lovely shot at the par 3. Such a dangerous pin position. The water so close to the flag there.
For a half. Down the slope, but well holed. Half in 4. Fast and Carlson remain 1 up against Old Corn and Montgomery.
Now this is the 3rd shot at the 9th. In fact, the 4th shot at the 9th collisions with the trees, and he's just that just could be all over. I mean, the English couple are through the back edge of the green in 2. No concession yet, of course, because anything can happen. They have a single putt, and the Great Britain Island team 3 putt. It's all been seen before, all been done before. And some quite erratic golf going on in this match here, and quite surprising. A bit nervy for young Casey in his first ever representative match as a professional here.
Harrington at the 8th. Foursomes this afternoon. Alternate shots, only 2 balls in play. So 2 good tee shots there at the par 3 8th.
Darren Clark. lovely putt. So we saw an excellent putt from Harrington in the previous match, but this is the final match of the afternoon, and so Clark and Westwood are 2 up against Alex Cheika and Thomas Bjorn. So we have Great Britain and Ireland only up in 1 match, and the continental Europe are up in 2 matches. So we have a nice, and there it is. That's just to let you know. This morning it was 2 matches each.
So it all stands at the moment. Continental Europe up in a couple of games. Britain and Ireland up in the final match. Westwood and Clark have got beaten this morning. Webster and Casey, Jimenez and Olazabal all square. Fairly scrappy match, throwing just pars and bogeys at each other. But that can happen in foursome so easily. Get someone who's hitting it a bit crooked off the tee. Difficult to save your pars.
Robert Carlson now. He's a big fella. That driver looks like a toothpick. And you can see how this hole turns and weaves away from you. He's out of fairway there.
McGinley for a 2. Just over borrowing it. Pretty fast putt. McGinley and Harrington been friends for a long while.
Jimenez with a bogey putt on the 9th that he must make to have any chance of saving the hole. Casey and Webster 2.5 feet away in 3. And I'm sure that will now be conceded.
Well, I think you heard that. Great Britain and Ireland are 1 up in this match. Rather disappointing hole by Jimenez, who's most experienced, and Olazabal between them, making a bit of a mess of it now. Up the hill they go to this elevated tee at the 10th hole.
Jacqueline to win the hole. Oh, I wouldn't believe that one turned to the left. Looks like a half in 3. They remain 2 up on McGinley and Harrington.
First match out, Colin Montgomery and Old Corn, who are 1 down at the moment against Fast and Carlson. He had to hit that as clean as a whistle. A long testing par 5, that's okay.
Tee, the slightly elevated tee to the pin cut front left, water all the way down the left hand side, and looks like an 8 iron for the Westwood. Very acceptable. 20 feet or so, just short of pin high on the right. See the slightly different coloured turfs there. The turf on the left is recently been relaid. There used to be a bunker there, so they could get that rather tricky front left pin. So it's got slight similarities, don't you think, Alex, with the 16th at Augusta, that type of shape of hole?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of great features on this course. Cheika. And I was going to say, and it could draw back there. It's not. It's just held itself at the very front edge. So Clark and Westwood at 2 up.
Third of Old Corn to the par 5 11th. Same pins as this morning, so they'll be familiar where they're cut. This one back left. Making the side courtesy of David Howell, who had to forgo his place due to injury.
Now up to the tee at 10. Dog legs to the left, huge oak tree right on the corner. And he's driven past that tree by miles, and that's at the bottom of the hill. Only a pitch shot up to the green.
Cool, that was a big blow, a real smoker around the corner for Steve Webster.
For three.
Pretty well coming out of the rough, so Carlson in the middle of the putting surface, but neither partnership threatening a birdie.
Olathabel is again at the 10th, up high here. It's a tee shot, you can't see the fairway, even though you're elevated on the tee, you drive over the crest.
Water comes into play on 8 holes on the golf course, mainly on the back 9 where it comes into play 6 times. Plenty of waterfowl and wildlife and 2 or 3 pairs of swans.
I don't know who the swans belong to out here, do you? Because back home in on the Great Britain part of this team, they belong to the Queen.
No, I don't know who they belong to here.
They're still
I've already
pretty,
fallen
aren't
for
they?
that one, yeah.
But now, let's have a look at this putt. It's just sort of upslope at the start, and then it smooths over. Thomas Bjorn putting for a 2. I'll tell you, that was a very good putt. It's no longer a good putt. It was very good for line, and it just edged over the cup.
I think this new little area green is a little bit quicker as well. We've seen a lot of people storm it past. Slightly different grass. Montgomery using this new style of putting where he tucks the end of the putter into his tummy button. He started that talk pretty confidently the way he's been putting. In the top 10 of the putting statistics last week at the Masters, which has given him a bit of heart.
Well, Seve was very good in his putting statistics on the 2 rounds he played, as we go back to Darren Clark here at the short 8th. And the match is very evenly poised. It was 2 each this morning, and now we're up. Each is up in 2 games this afternoon. Well, Clark and Westwood storming along now, settling in. And they should be 3 up. So if you're looking at statistics, Great Britain and Ireland are just marginally ahead.
It's the 4th birdie of the day for Clark and Westwood, and in foursomes you don't often make too many birdies. Fast to win the hole. Half in 5. Webster and Casey 1 up. Little old Robin. He's got a nest somewhere, that I do guarantee.
He's gone to it. Yeah. Kieran Monaghan is down there, where Porrick Harrington is hesitating for a moment. Kieran?
Yes, Alex, he's not found a very good lie here off McGinley's tee shot. He's only got 98 yards to the flag, but I'm sure he's worried about it flying a little on him.
Well, nice to have the voice of Kieran Monaghan, who knows this course as well as anyone, being the professional here at Druids Glen. Let's see if it flies on him or not. Let's see if Kieran knows exactly what he's talking about. He's punched into it beautifully. That was superbly controlled. He had a great impression, made a great impression in the Masters last week at Augusta, with the galleries particularly. His smile, enchanting it is.
Short iron left for Jimenez. His approach to 10. Might spin back. Terrific. Wonderful shot. Playing against Casey and Webster. This is Casey. Pretty good too. Two delightful approaches. Casey's swing reminds me very much of Paul Way's.
Yes, it does. He's a little shorter in the follow through than Paul Way. Paul was short and then long into the through swing. Now this is the swing we've been talking about more than most. Nick was fast. Unfortunately, the slope will just take it away. But yes, you're right about Paul Casey and Paul Way. 174 yards, the 12th. Delightful hole down the hill from a very elevated tee into a green that leans towards the water. Now what's happened here? Somebody's knocked the bottle over. All the cold drinks stored in that Coca-Cola bin, and someone's had a collision. That's what I'm talking about. A beautiful pattern of flowers just over the top of the banking there that you get from another view looking back into the hole. There it is there. The old Celtic cross set into the hill. A tremendous history around this part of Wicklow. Druids Glen. There's an old druid stands deep in the trees by his well. It's quite a spectacular place. Colin Montgomery hasn't got that on his mind right now. He's got the fact that this drops a good 50 or 60 feet down to that green. It's just 5 from the left. But comfort of being well up the green today, a good 22 paces up the green, that makes it easier to get at. Ah, there's the captain. David Ballesteros arriving at this 12th hole. Sign a few autographs before he gets on about his business. He's a real busy captain. He made a great impression at Valderrama one way or the other again.
Yeah, he made a big impression at Valderrama, that's for certain, with the crowds, and he loves winning. It was a terrific victory there back in 1999. 97, wasn't it? You can't see the marker of the opposition. That must have been conceded. So this is for a half for Webster. Well done. Played some good golf all day today at Webster. So half in birdie threes at the 10th, and they remain 1 up.
Now McGinley has a great opportunity here to win this hole. Jacqueline putted up and missed. So this from 5 feet for a little break.
Well, that's a very important putt. That brings them to just within 1 hole of Leve and Jacqueline. I would have thought that Harrington McGinley team are very good, obviously popular in this part of the world, but a very good combination.
Yes, former winners of the World Cup when they played together for Ireland. Played quite a lot of junior golf together as well. 11th tee, the par 5, and Paul Casey doesn't ground his club and gives it a really big rip. Ooh, I know, devil. A good tee shot. Gorse, left and right off the tee, a dog leg from left to right the hole. Got to drive down the left hand side to get the best view of the green. If you drive tight right, you have to hit over a hump, and a narrow putting surface, but just about reachable in 2.
Yes, you can also have some gorse protruding, and I think that is almost in the way of Casey's tee shot. There's the gorse I'm referring to. If you cut the corner, you get trapped behind that. Both players, they're within a few feet of each other. They may just have to trim the gorse bush with the second shot.
Little ridge runs across the green. This area, that's about the top of the ridge. Got to putt up that. Slow putt. We see everybody this morning leave it short from here. You can see it's up the hill. Some of those putts, no matter how hard you think you should hit it, you need to hit it a little bit harder, Alex.
Yes, in a foursome that's difficult. You're always terrified you might leave your companion with a long one back. Sometimes you just have to do the job. And that's a very good putt there by Robert Carlson. That has been conceded by Montgomery and Oldcorn.
The last match has reached the 9th. Alex Cheika, Thomas Bjorn, 3 down to Clark and Westwood. Often in a partnership you use a different type of golf ball, and you have to decide who's the manufacturer you're going to use, and they all fly slightly differently.
Lee Westwood. Trees in the way here. It's at the 9th hole. Oh, and that's a good shot. That's a good shot. He was waiting to see it come out of the sky. He couldn't see up onto that level.
Oldcorn had a look at the hole, but I don't think that'll be conceded. In his Walker Cup matches going way back, when he played at Hoylake. He was the first Britain and Ireland player to win 4 out of 4 matches. There's the Druid looking over Colin. The Druid's altar.
Druid's altar, yes.
What is a Druid? Shouldn't have asked that,
He's
should I?
like a Celtic, a religious person. You've got an email and you're an authority on it, although this clubhouse is full of authorities, I can tell you here. There'll be somebody around in a moment to tell us. An old Druid, it's a religious person of the Celtic era.
Well, Tharbel and Jimenez had a long think about what they were going to do for their 2nd to the 11th here, but he's going to have a crack at it. He's got 232 to find the front of the green, 254 to the pin. He's got the 3-wood out. And he's asked his opponents to mark their ball, which he's allowed to do because it was so close.
The pin is in this sort of area here. Got a bit of cut on that shot.
That's Ken, the gorse bushes I was mentioning, the way they come out on the corner. If you get just a little bit greedy, he's got to start it off with a little bit of a slice to get it. You see those 2 tall pines there on the right side? It's where the pin is going to be found. I don't think he can reach it, surely.
I don't think he'd take a wood if he couldn't. He'd just lay it up with an iron. He's going to try and chase it on.
That's true.
Bueno, he loves it. Oh, spot on line, just carries to the front of the green. A little bit unlucky that it didn't. A bit more of a release than that, pitching in the upslope.
And back to the 9th we go. And Thomas Bjorn. A little right to left. What? It's turning, but not quite enough for Thomas.
Steve Webster has replaced his ball, having marked it and picked it up. Of course, he's not allowed to clean it. Has to be very fastidious in just holding it without cleaning any dirt off the ball. And the balls are picking up a little bit of mud in places on the fairway. Nothing significant, certainly nothing like Augusta last week. And he slightly had his hand forced by Olafarble's great shot. He's going to have a go too with a 3-wood. Wind into his face and off the left.
Julian, you must be impressed with this swing.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? Pete Cowan, who's one of the top coaches on tour, reckons that his position at impact is just about as good as it can be, which is how he gets so much power on the ball, real compression on the ball.
Well, he's let it leak to the right. A touch.
And inevitably, when you hit it right, it's come up short as well.
Yes, he just came off that one a wee bit, Julian. He was so busy getting it up and over the gorse that he didn't quite get the power he wanted. There's a sort of rough strip of grass between fairway and green. Should be okay.
Jacqueline quite a long way back at the 10th. From the fairway off Levy's tee shot. Coming a little bit flatter, down the breeze, skidding on the first bounce, and that was ideal.
Aaron Clark. It's seldom we see him without a peaked cap. Few grey hairs creeping in, I think, Ken.
Well done. 3 birdies in a row. That's 5 holes in a row. Clark and Westwood have won. They're 4 up, out in 32, and that's very good golf. Par on the front nine, 35.
Now then, McGinley. Elevated green, backspin available if you want it. There it is, just gripping nicely on the second bounce, and that's probably stone dead. Beautiful shot. They could square this match with a bit of luck.
A very pretty 13th hole. Long par 4 from an elevated tee. Little stream runs all the way down the right hand side. Good spot. Gives you an idea of the change in elevation. The fairway some 25-30 feet below the tee. Hole turns to the right. Anything overcut finds the stream. Second, always a problematical one. Difficult to pick the club in the swirling winds in the valley, and then a deep green with a pin right at the back of the putting surface today. 36 centre up the little ledge at the back, and we saw this hole causing all sorts of problems this morning.
Yes, that graphic made it look even more terrifying than it is, and it is terrifying. You can just cut the corner on the right, but mind the water if you do. There's a burn running through there. Oh, and that's a beautiful drive and a long one. Beautiful shot from the elevated tee. Magnificent golf hole. There you see the hotel, the new hotel, and it really is quite splendid up there.
Levy for the half. Match all square. Harrington and McGinley strike back at number 10. There'll be a tough partnership to beat.
Well, this ball's not too bad that Webster hit short of the green and right on the 11th. Paul Casey though it needs a little bit of luck. He's got plenty of green to work with. It's into wind. The English pair one up at the moment, but really it's a matter of luck to how much this runs out. It's bound to trap grass between the ball and the club face. Oh, he's gone right underneath it.
Yes, not a good shot there. Didn't get a grip of it at all. Possibly a bit wary with the pin being close at the back edge, but not good.
Quite unusual for a captain to put two rookie players out in foursomes, Webster and Casey. You just lose the wind in this valley. You're not quite sure where it's blowing.
No, and you can't misjudge. Trouble all the way on the left-hand side. And the slope of the fairway takes you down to the trees and into the water. Oh, well, he hit the notice board. He hit behind the notice board, dropped out in front of it. There's no problem. Of course, he'll be able to take a clearer drop if that interferes with the swing.
I think they've made some new banners now that the rule is you actually have to move the banner out of the way to stop all this dropping. See, they can get it out of the way, so they're now movable obstructions, and you just move them out of position, because we had so much time with rulings and where do you drop them. They decided to make the signage so that it can be taken out of the way.
Huge eagle putt on the 11th here for Jimenez, but if it goes in, it wins the hole. It's got to come off the bank on the left-hand side. Undercooked it big time.
Now Colin Montgomery is at the 13th. Oh, now that's what I was talking about. If you miss the green and the slope off the left-hand side, and that has gone right down, could almost reach water at the far left of the green. Might be okay, Ken.
I have a feeling that might be in the water. That's losing the wind because he thought it was perfect. Just when you looked like he was gaining a bit of an advantage on the hole. Montgomery, I think, has found the water.
Now, a very long putt for the English pair. Only this time for birdie on the 11th. And possibly for a half, depending on what the Spanish do with theirs, 6 foot or so that's left for birdie. Reasonably flat green, this. Unlike some of the others, which are very undulating. Interesting rule they're using here for the Seve Trophy. Unlike the Ryder Cup, players aren't allowed to practice their putting after the hole is completed, which in foursomes means you can go quite a few holes without putting.
I think they've changed that rule. I think Sam Torrance and Strange have decided there will be no practice putting at the Ryder Cup either, because it was causing a lot of slow play. Only for this particular match. Normally you can practice your putting in match play.
Well, let's see what Steve Webster can do with this. Not a lot. Not a lot. It's not been a good hole. Par 5, two of the most powerful young players. But this is what's happened, Ken, and we're out at the 13th.
I don't know whether maybe he hasn't reached the water. Doesn't look a very attractive spot. Hard to see where the hazard line is as well.
Thomas Bjorn then. Up to the green now. Talk about backspin. He's pretty good at developing that. Very solid shot, leaving enough hill putt. That putt for a 3. And there's a better view of this hole, I think, looking up the slope. Darren. Clark and Westwood 4 up in this match. That'll come back. That'll dance back a bit. Very impressive from Clark and Westwood, who lost this morning.
Maybe getting over their jet lag on their trip back from Augusta.
Yes, Darren Clark and Lee Westwood really regaining their putting form, especially Darren Clark during the course of this afternoon. So we've got 3 very evenly balanced matches, and one which seems to be heading the way of Great Britain and Ireland. Darren Clark and Lee Westwood 4 ahead on Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn after a great sort of hat-trick of birdies from the 7th, and Darren Clark holding some magnificent putts on the way. It's Nicholas Fast and Robert Carlson ahead of Colin Montgomery and Andrew Olcorn, 1 up, and Webster and Casey 1 up on Miguel Angel Jimenez and this man Jose Maria Olazabal.
Well, at the 11th, Olazabal has this to win the hole on the green and 2 at this large par 5. And that's a good putt, and that squares the match. We've got 2 matches at all square. Clark and Westwood at 4 up, and the Europeans 1 up in this match with Colin Montgomery, and Colin Montgomery in trouble. He and Olcorn in trouble. Rules officials are in. Fast's having a good look at it. What's going on? Obviously interested. But the rules officials, the European Tour rules officials, expert at their field.
Shaker up this little, well, almost up a hump and then down the other side at the 10th for a birdie 3. There's a lot of putts today that have looked at the hole and perhaps just a bit more pace to found the bottom of the cup. For another birdie. This time Westwood to putt. And that would have been 4 birdies in a row.
Well, no, this is where Colin Montgomery has gone, and I see a sort of drain there to do with the water levels. I don't know if that'll interfere with the swing. We'll find out soon.
.174-yard par 3, 12th, and Seve up on the tee there with his team of Jimenez and Olazabal. He was right in over their shoulder a moment ago, giving them a little bit of advice whether they wanted it or not. 178 yards to the pin from this elevated tee.
You'll be able to pass on the news of what clubs the previous players have hit on the hole, helping club selection.
You can see that the putt was not conceded, and Darren Clark has this for a half, which is...
Hole humped in 4, Great Britain and Ireland remain 4 up.
There you are. That was convincing enough from John Paramore, the referee. Lets everyone know around. State of the game.
This was interesting on the 12th. Olazabal was just about to play, and then Jimenez, who was over on the left-hand side of the tee, said stop and pointed out that the wind appeared to be different. I think more off the left rather than into, and Olazabal has changed his club as a result. It's a very awkward tee shot, this, because the green is right down in the bottom of the valley and the wind is whipping across the top.
Still not convinced, is he? It's giving it a kind of definite maybe. Playing 179 today, this hole.
Interesting little punch shot he's played there, Ken, down into the low part of the green. That's beautiful, because there's a huge drop down there. It must be at least 60 feet, I would think.
Side has been moved and Carlson got a decent lie. It's pitched to 13. Done pretty well. The mud on the ball.
That was an absolutely glorious shot that Eleventh played. By punching it, he kept it under the wind, really just down in the valley. Steve Webster will have learned something from that. I suspect he'll probably try and play a similar sort of shot. Match all square now after Spaniards having back-to-back birdies at 10 and 11.
Well, it was quite a straight-faced club, kept control, and that will work its way down the slope towards the flag. Two very good tee shots, slightly different in technique, but good ones nevertheless. So the match is all square.
And remember also that the match overall is all square after the morning greensomes were shared, 2 apiece. But the overall position now, well, it's very interesting indeed, apart from the bottom match in which Darren Clarke and Lee Westwood are 4 ahead on Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn. Elsewhere, it's Montgomery and Olcorn, 1 down on Nicholas Fast and Robert Carlson. The last 3 holes have been halved. And the other 2 matches, Webster and Casey against Jimenez and Olazabal, Harrington and McGinley against Jacqueline and LeVay. They are both all square as well. Well, we're roughly halfway through our coverage of the afternoon foursomes from here at Druids Glen, the first day of the second Seve Trophy. Much more to come in a few minutes' time after our mid-afternoon news summary. So join us again for more from this first day of the Seve Trophy very shortly. Welcome back to this cool, breezy afternoon at Druids Glen, south of Dublin in the beautiful Wicklow Mountains. The first day of the second Seve Trophy match that pitches Great Britain and Ireland against continental Europe. Colin Montgomery and Seve Ballesteros, the rival captains, and we've got all the intense but friendly rivalry that we expected from this match. The morning greensomes were shared, 2 apiece. We're now enjoying the hard-fought afternoon foursomes. At least 3 of them are hard-fought, but one match in particular seems to be heading the way of Great Britain and Ireland. And a few minutes ago, while you were away on the news, this was Darren Clarke, who'd really found his putting form in partnership with Lee Westwood over the course of the last 4 or 5 holes, and every department of his short game is in pretty good shape, isn't it? Darren Clarke chipping in at the 11th, and now Clarke and Westwood are 5 ahead of Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn. But you can see the other 3 matches are all evenly balanced. Colin Montgomery and Andrew Olcorn won the 13th with a bogey 5 to get back to all square against Nicholas Fast and Robert Carlson, and the other 2 matches all square as well. So much to enjoy over the next hour or so as this first day's play builds up to a very, very interesting climax. Let's get back out live onto the course, and Alex Hay and Peter Ellis.
Thank you, Steve. And view down to the short hole with the final match. Westwood and Clarke, an anxious captain, Seve, the continental time, rushing round in his buggy. 3 matches are all square. This morning's games were halved, 2 points aside, and at this moment there's just the final game for GB and I. Clarke and Westwood dominating their match against Checker and Bjorn. A lot of little plants pricked out there, Alex.
Yes, the logo of Druids Glen, and of course the big Celtic cross which set into the hillside is very impressive and magnificently designed and presented. Lee Westwood playing very comfortably. Although they got beaten this morning, you've got to remember that. Westwood and Clark lost to Jacqueline and Levay by 2 and 1. Sweet revenge this afternoon, it seems.
Did he get that a little heavy? No, he certainly didn't. Plenty of distance on that one. It's okay. ...174 yards, but that of course can vary with the pin positioning. That's measured more or less to the middle of the green. You can see the slope on the left, the bunker, little stream on the right. And when there's any wind about, this needs a good stout iron shot to find the green. Good selection of short holes here. None of them are pushover by any means. This is Checker.
Just trying to hold the club face open there at the last moment. And you can see why. It had it folded up already. It's no good opening it up. That's like bolting the stable door. But that's just a natural reaction. You try to force the face back again, and the ball's already on its way into sand.
Exciting second shot for Olethable from the left-hand side of the 13th. He's got 189 to the front, 225 to the pin. Wind off the right, going with a 3-iron. Easy to turn this over a bit too much right to left and lose it into the water left. He's quite twitchy about this one. I mean, it's a really tough shot. It's a narrow landing area.
Could be good if he's not overdone it. No, it's a good shot. Finds the target, but long way from the hole.
Very similar shot for Webster, but he's 2 yards further left, which makes it that much more difficult.
Great shot.
That could be good. Oh, just killed it. Just took the sting out of that. Needed a chaser up the green. This flag a long way up the green today. Flag 36 paces up the green. You can see from front to back, you've probably got certainly 3 clubs difference. Delightful little bridge, lovely bit of stonework there as the players go over towards the green.
Looked a bit like Brigadoon there, didn't it, Peter? Nicholas Fast, the 15th. 456-yard par 4. Again, just off the fairway, but that's not difficult. Some of them are only about 20 paces across. Fast is all square, he and Carlson against Montgomery and Old Corn. Now there's one that sounded a little bit heavy. It may just... You don't want to be heavy here because of that lake you're playing straight across. He's clung on to the top of the hill.
Montgomery in trouble. This is on the 15th. 456 yards. Well, that could be... Oh, it took a hard bounce, but not bad. When the tee shot, his partner there, Old Corn, would have driven him off the fairway. Must have been thinking, oh, let me please find it. And find it he did, and he's played a good shot onto the green.
There was a lot of water, Peter, in this in the late holes down here, 15, 16, 17 and 18, of course, going down towards the low point of the land.
Clark at the 12th. Very lofted club from just on the edge of the green. Little pop. It made a sort of tinny noise, but the result is beautiful. Pitched in at the last hole, or what it has been doing all sorts of magical things. Couldn't buy a putt this morning. But this afternoon, he's back on form. Great cloud of smoke will go up in a minute. No, it won't. He's already had one of these. This was a much longer shot. Similar club, probably played maybe with the same club. Played it quite beautifully. And just nicely up against the flag and in. He just played one again, a beauty from the edge of the green. Checker has this to halve the hole. If it misses it, he's in dire trouble. No, didn't. But still 5 down.
Great Britain Ireland remain 5 up.
5 down to 6 to play. Things do not look too good. 15th, 4, 5, 6 is a good, strong par 4.
The 15th hole is 456 yards. It's an almost dead straight par 4, but a very important tee shot. Bunker down the right-hand side, left-hand side, there's some very, very deep, tangly rough. If you miss the fairway, this water is very much in play. It goes all the way from driving distance right to the front of the green. It's a narrow putting surface, not much to aim at on 2 levels. But the key shot on this par 4 is to find the fairway off the tee. Otherwise, you might end up in a plop.
Little island on the left is a haven of wildlife. They're drifting, all sorts of wondrous things popping up. I know some people think that golf courses ecologically do an awful lot of damage. I don't think they do as much damage as a 120-acre farm that puts down all sorts of chemicals and things, but it does offer sanctuary for a lot of wildlife, particularly when you've got a course like this with water and gorse and all bits and pieces round about. Now Carlson will be good if he gets it close enough that his partner doesn't have to get his putter out. Hello, hello. Ooh, I tell you, if that had been a bit straighter, it might have disappeared.
Miguel Angel Jimenez putting from off the 13th green. If he can knock this in, the hole is his. Left the pin in.
Well, an aggressive putt there. As Peter was saying earlier, this green very long and difficult to judge up the slope. So Olathable's got about 10 feet left.
Meanwhile, at the 15th, Andrew Oldcorn playing his side's third. Going to play a little chip. Well, I didn't think it was as windy as that. You know, it's just a little stiff wristed, little firm wristed, almost like a putt. That's the way to do it. It's an easy game, isn't it? Puts him one up. It's nice when you've got a partner like that that just sort of rolls them up stone dead, chips in occasionally.
Peter, that suddenly tipped things in Great Britain and Ireland direction. That's 2 matches where I shouldn't be biased like that, but where they are up. Montgomery and Oldcorn at 1, Clark and Westwood are 5 up.
It's us against us.
It is.
Meanwhile, at the 13th, Olathabale hoping he can get this in left to right. This for a par 4. Good strike. See it turn away? I thought he did it hard enough to keep the line. So Webster, having played a Good second, hoiked it round the trees to the front of the green. His partner Casey has got it down about 5 feet away. This to win the hole.
And this match has had its problems. They've been a bit slow as a result. The match behind has caught them up. They're waiting back down the fairway.
Well, Montgomery, the first match, they've been out 3 hours now, which is not too speedy for a foursome. That's in. Yeah, well done. Shows GB and I, Great Britain and Ireland, up in 3 matches. The other match is square.
One up.
Yes, and Colin Montgomery and Andrew Olcorn on top or ahead for the very first time in their match against Nicholas Fast and Robert Carlson. A rather scrappy match, but Andrew Olcorn finding his putting touch at just the right time. Webster and Casey ahead once again for the 3rd time in their match against the Spaniards Jimenez and Olazabal. And now it's only Harrington, McGinley, Jacqueline Levey that is still all square. They're out on the 13th.
Padraig Harrington. Second shot into this. Well, it's tight to say the least. This green entry here. That will just trickle its way off and down into the valley. One of those holes that through the winter months doesn't get a lot of sunlight. Right up a gorge on the right hand side, steep slope on the left hand side. Harrington and McGinley all square against Jacqueline and Levey. This is Thomas Levey.
Levey here with his second shot on 13. This is a 4-iron, 190 to the flag, into quite a stiff breeze now.
That's a solid shot from Thomas. He'll be defending the British Masters title at Woburn in the later on in this end of May after the PGA Championship.
He won in fine style, didn't he, last year? Are they playing it on the new course, the Marquis?
On the Marquis, yes, and he won it in a playoff. I mean, there were 4 of them tied. It was quite an exciting and dramatic finish for a new course.
Been a great addition to Woburn. Montgomery at the 16th. Long hole this, 538. Oh, a bit of bounce and run in that. It's a good shot. Very good. Captain Monty.
Have a look at this 16th. This is quite a hole. You drive up, big bunker on the left, great long one where you can be greedy and get caught. Even if you pass it, you then drive second shot all the way up a slope, huge slope. It's one of those holes that for most players it's out of range. Again, there's an end to the fairway, a strip of rough and sand before you reach the green. That seems to be common practice here at the par 5s. You don't have fairway all the way to the green. Now let's have a look at Nicholas Fast, who must hit a good one, get between the bunkers. He's leaning as if he started it left and it's drifting right. His partner over there already waiting for him. He's up the right hand side. That's a mighty long hit. And they are playing in the true foursomes tradition of going forward and being there waiting to play your second shot, not waiting to walk up together.
Yes, nice to see. 14th tee, Ollie.
.399 14th. Wind off the left, helping the tee shot round the corner. Wind into the other day, they were struggling to reach the fairway.
Oh, that was a handy one. Clipped the tree. Ricocheted over the other side of the hill. I don't know what's down there.
He might be all right, I think, Peter. Nearly behind a tree, but just all right. Meanwhile, Steve Webster in the middle of the fairway.
That was a wildish drive from Ollie. Olathabal, who's been driving much better lately. All down to Butch Harmon, you know. All those hundreds of hours he spent with JRM, dear old John Jacobs, forgotten. Cast into the mists of time. Not so.
For McGinley, who has this shot from just off the left of the 13th. Kieran, awkward stance.
This chip of McGinley's actually is quite makeable. It's straight up the hill. Just didn't hit it.
Always the way when you're standing below the ball and toe of the club sort of catches into the ground. It's not as easy. The available land was simple, but the actual execution of the shot not so simple. Anyway, he's left his partner quite a long putt there.
Carlson. Match 1. Somebody just up on the right there, he'd like moved away slightly. It's very determined. Ian Fast 1 down to Captain Montgomery and Andrew Oldcorn. Seemed to be a nice hit. Just pushed it a whisker, and he would have got up.
Yes.
Easily got up into 538 yards with a drive and an iron. A long way. May have a decent lie in the bunker. Now Colin hit a super drive, so his man Oldcorn, he's also out with an iron. Nice to see Andrew back on the circuit. He spent 2 or 3 years in poor state. MS, I think, or ME. It's one of the strange disease that nobody seems to know why you've got. I've got a dear friend up in Aberdeen who suffers from it and had a miserable time, and now getting cheery again. And that's just off the, not bad. Must be quite a good breeze helping on this hole to be able to knock up there with a drive and an iron.
Jimenez down in the valley, and just a punch. It's not a long distance at this 14th, and he's done very well indeed to come in from a shot where he could see nothing.
Seve, we'll just be very quiet here as Paul Casey is playing behind us. You're eagerly watching your Spanish boys of Olathabal and Jimenez. Happy the way things are going?
Not really. No, because it's one match, five down, I believe, and the other match, the first match I had, Nicholas Fast and Robert Carson, they just lost the 14, and it's not looking too good, but things can change, I hope.
Jimenez and Olathabal, your strong pairing, a bit disappointing this morning, and they're struggling again this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you know, they have a couple of good chances early this morning, and it's just the holes they swing around to the other team, and they lost 2 holes that they were supposed to win, and that really, you know, is a bit painful, and that's why they lost the concentration, and also the British and Irish team, they play very well. Nothing you can do about that, you know. But and this afternoon is a tough match again. But they still have 4 holes to play, and things can change, I hope.
You'd like to go and play the shots for them?
No, I think they're all great players, great champions, and they can do it themselves very well.
But you'd like to get in there and...
Tomorrow I will be in the match.
You'll be playing the full balls?
Yes, tomorrow morning, yes.
Thanks, Seve.
All right, thanks.
Words from Captain Seve, who has given our golfers and followers and O players so much pleasure over the years with his scintillating, swashbuckling play. Jacqueline's putted up here and gone, well, the way past. Harrington has this putt at this moment sort of keep the match all square. In fact, Jacqueline's putt was conceded, so this must be holed to keep the match level. Just turned across on that. So, as Colin and Seve was saying, things can change quickly, and there you saw it happen before your very eyes. Continental side go one up with just a handful of holes left to play.
Yes, Jacqueline and Leve having a good time, but not so Westwood, although 5 up. That's what happens when you miss the fairway here at this 13, and he's just hacked it out just short of the bridge, and that's probably about 150 yards still from the flag.
Oh, this was recorded. This was the putt that they had. No, I'm slightly confused now. I must be back.
Yes, a good putt there for 4 for Leve. Now Shaker. Oh, he's spun off the tree. Just short of the green at the 13th. Well, we've got Great Britain and Ireland are up in 3 matches, but down, and Jacqueline and Leve, as I was saying, having a very good day. They won this morning, this pair. There it is, Jacqueline and Leve now 1 up against Harrington and McGinley, a much fancied pair from this part of the world. And their victory this morning was a very, very important one. They beat Westwood and Clark. But at Montgomery and Old Corn, thanks to a chip-in, and Webster and Casey there, still up in their matches.
Montgomery, 3rd shot. And a little beauty. It's a birdie 4.
Darren Clark, 3rd shot at the 13th. His wild tee shot is being followed by an equally wild 3rd shot. I think that's in the hazard. I really do think that's in the lake. Maybe relaxing a little too early.
Meanwhile, at the 16th, Carlson has six footer or so to halve the hole. Left all the way.
Great Britain and Ireland win the hole in 4. And 2 up in the match.
2 up, 2 to play. 17th, good, strong, short hole, over 200 yards, and the 18th over water. I think there's a bit of wind against, is a very formidable par 4 to finish. Footballers' wives, didn't watch a Chardonnay. Steve Webster's girlfriend. Amy, Susie Amy, S-U-Z-I-Z. They're all here, you know. Michael Caine's supposed to be here tomorrow. They're filming here very soon.
Paul Casey. Paul Casey and Webster. Just got the 1-hole lead against Jimenez, and Olazabal.
Well, behind the trees there, you've got Lee Westwood. Darren Clark hit a wicked tee shot, and his partner got him out of trouble, and he hoiked it round left again. If that's not in the water, if it didn't go in the water, he's been a very lucky boy. If it did go in the water, he'd be now playing 5. So the others must be making a hash of it. He's continuing playing here. Senior referee John Parrymore, I think it is, just telling where to. He's dropped it and it's rolled back towards the water, so after a couple of drops you're allowed to place it. Everything is so meticulously done now, just to get it on exactly the right bits of ground, and then to make sure it doesn't roll again, of course. You can see the red stakes behind the water hazard. John counting up, 1, 2, 3, 4, carry 1, divide, take away the number you first thought of. How many is that?
Have you got a system for doing it, Peter?
Absolutely.
I tend to count the one they lift out as a stroke when I'm doing it. One to get out of the water.
That's right.
Now Jimenez.
Oh, no. Oh,
That hurts.
That does hurt. Doesn't usually miss them.
No.
17th tee, Andrew Oldcorn, 2 up, 2 to play.
Fascinating shot hole this, Peter. You see the water, it absolutely horseshoes all the way around the front of the green. Great expanse of water, and water up the sides. Only at the back is it connected to the mainland.
Seemed to go a bit deep for that, but as long as he got the ball first, he's okay. Oh no, got it a bit heavy. One of the few players to take big divots and make good strikes. Ian Woosum strikes the ball beautifully. But here we go to Westwood.
A very nicely played little shot. It still means that Cheika and Bjorn are favourites on this particular hole.
Back to the 17th. The home side, we'll call them. Great Britain and Ireland have played their tee shot into the bunker in front of the green. Carlson, his shot. 3 hours and 20 minutes so far for this opening game. Now that seems to be a good strike. Yeah, right over the top of the flag. That's a fine shot. Clark and Westwood conceded on the 13th and dropped back to 4 up. Still very much in control of things, or should be. And much can happen here. Monty's got to play a good bunker shot, and Oldcorn's got to finish it off. The others have got to miss to keep the match going.
Up onto the tee at 15. All Casey. Well, he got away with Jimenez missing a putt at the last hole. He's tried to cut the corner, and I think it's lying okay. Now here's Jimenez. One down with his partner Olazabal. I think that's a good shot. That bounds down the fairway just to run out of ground, and you'll see then that the shot is straight all the way over the lake, and there's a good 80-90 yards of water, and it's right to the very front of the green. And if they put the pin on the front end of this, you get a lot of 3 putts with people hurtling up the back.
Out here on the 14th green now. Both parties on in regulation with putts for birdies. Wind is freshening for sure at this stage. Harrington to putt first. Course is now playing a lot longer than earlier in the day. This hole this morning was playing drive and a 6-iron. Both parties here hit pitching wedges for the second shot, so downwind here.
Well, at the moment, there's only one match going the Continental's way, and it is indeed this one. They're one up. And now, Morig. Fairly straight putt. From the right and in. Oh, that's a cracking putt. A little bit of bend from right to left. He's a very good partner to have. I was saying earlier about my wonderful Ryder Cup partnership with Christy O'Connor, but over the years I've had several others. John Panton of Scotland was a wonderful. We played together in the British Pros versus the Europeans, and he was a marvellous partner as well. Always down the fairway, never missed from 4 feet.
17th, Colin Montgomery from this collar of bunker, you would call it, right round the front of the green it lies. Not a difficult shot. And he's most experienced here, 2 Irish Open Championships. And he actually won one of them from his partner. Andrew Olcorn took 6 at the 18th when Andrew looked like he was going to be Irish Open champion, but they're still friends.
They're ready to halve the hole and stay one up.
Left lip putt, misread, unfortunately, by LeVay.
Paul McGinley strides off. Oh, hello. Oh, no, we nearly lost a key man there. Mind where you're poking your stick. Heavy. Give him the yellow card there. Can't just swing right. It's almost like one of those old Eric Sykes movies, The Plank.
Fast putt from Fast. Didn't read that one right, did we, between the two of us? Thinking a little bit about shaking hands there. Montgomery and Olcorn 2 up.
I don't think you do. That would be over generous. I think you always must make the person hole the putt to win the hole.
I think there'll be a dispute about whose putt it is. Well, not a dispute, but a discussion as to who's the further from the hole.
No, I think the others conceded. It's just whether that's a pitch mark or not.
I see.
Try to keep up.
I'm trying hard.
Captain Colin, deep in thoughts, he's thinking, now my man will surely pop this in.
Yes.
And we will have won 2 and 1.
Just warming his hands. Warm handshake he'll be giving in a minute, provided Andrew knocks this one in.
Well, this is just, well, it depends on the speed, but it's left of centre. You saw that that putt just move across. So a fast putt just move left to right, and it had a little bit of pace in it, went probably 12-14 inches past.
It's also very exposed there, Peter, and the wind coming across the lake. There's just nothing there to stop it. You see trousers flapping about. Good,
Well
solid putt.
Well done. That's a good putt to hole, Alex.
Yes, excellent. I think it's handshake time. It is indeed. Colin Montgomery and Andrew Olcorn beating Nicholas Fast and Robert Carlson. 2 up, 1 to play.
First blood to Great Britain and Ireland. And they're up in the next match we're due to see. Webster and Casey against Jimenez and Olazabal. Third match all square, and the final match 4 up.
Nice swing there of Thomas Bjorn, neat and tidy. Lovely shot up to the green. 14th hole. Nice, neat little hole, this one, round to dog legs to the right a little bit. There's the, you can't see the bottom of the flag. Darren Clark. 4 up, 5 to play. So unusual to see players hatless, isn't it, Peter, these days?
It is, yes. Obviously haven't got a contract. This umpire might have signalled wide there. Young Master Casey, what happened there?
He's been a bit shaky today, and that wasn't a pun with Shaker, but I think Casey will be a little disappointed with his golf as we go to Alex Cheika. 4 down at the moment. This is a very important putt for them. And he stood up to the task. That's a birdie 3. Now Lee Westwood has to hold that.
He's a very solid striker of the ball, Checker. You remember a couple of years ago he won those 2 or 3 tournaments in a season, and I thought he was away and running, but been a bit unfortunate with his putting, which has let him down on occasions.
Remarkably fit, Peter. He's one of the fittest people on the whole of the European tour, an athlete in every sense. Now, what about Lee?
This for a half.
Yes, but if he gets this, there'll be 4 up and 4 to play. Dormy. You could say Dormy here because they don't go on down the 19th, do they? It
Correct.
would become half a point.
Dormir, from a French verb.
Thank you.
That's in too. Never looked anywhere else, did it?
No. 4 up, 4 to play.
Steadied the ship. Good pitch up from Darren Clark after a couple of very shaky shots on the previous hole, and Westwood there to finish it off. Back they go to the tee, and the other 2 move up the fairway.
Now Jimenez. Jimenez has a putt to square the match against Webster and Casey. You can see the marker there, how far past Casey struck it, leaving Steve Webster with quite a long putt. I think that one of the Spaniards has been conceded.
Webster up to the task. Webster Casey remain 1 up. It's been an interesting first day of this match between Great Britain and Irish professionals and those from the continent. I'm not absolutely certain that Captain Sam Torrance, if he's been following the fortunes of this, has learnt very much about things. In fact, a couple of the strong players haven't really performed too well today.
2 great tee shots here by Jacqueline and McGinley. Leve going to play first with a 9-iron from 130 yards.
Pin right at the back of the green, and a nice touch of backspin. It left the surface for a moment, but it's back on it.
I think 1 or 2 of these players may be physically and mentally tired, those that certainly played last week at Augusta, because that course is very demanding physically, and for those that had their caddies there as well, and then to come here, one really never mentions the caddies very often. They do sterling work carrying those huge bags.
Wedge for Harrington from the same distance. He's gone with a hard pitching wedge.
That's not bad. wondering why it went left and not straight. Strong pairing, this McGinley and Harrington. They played together in well, amateurs, a lot of golf together, and World Cup matches and internationals of all sorts, and they play nicely together. They're happy in each other's company. Both very keen and enthusiastic. Here comes the cavalry. All square 4 to play. They're up on the tee. Looks like Nicholas Fast. No, it's not. It's Bjorn. Thomas Bjorn. Got to wait. It's a very good finish here, Druids Glen. 15, 16, 17, 18. You've got 2 very good par 4s, a hard 5 and a very good par 3. So if you finish 1 under, you've done nothing wrong over the last 4 holes. Could be the end here.
Yes, it could. There's a little bit of a hold up for some reason. Thomas, who in individual golf is renowned for the amount of birdies that he produces, but in team golf it's a different matter. He's right up close to the face of the bunker. He had a lot of birdies at Augusta last week, but a lot of dropped shots too. Not been too fit this winter, where he winters out in Dubai.
Meanwhile, on the green, Jacqueline LeVay, Harrington, McGinley. It'll be the continental side from just on the very edge of the green.
Rafael Jacqueline lining up this putt. It's just run very close to the collar here, so it's making the putt just a little more difficult. Now the corner of the green is just the first cut off the putting surface, and you'll see when he puts the putter down behind the ball, he won't be able to just get a free moving swing. He'll probably have to hit it with the putter airborne.
It's rather like in snooker, being up under the cushion, not being able to strike down on the ball. Using one of this mid-length putters, which is a new fashion. Colin Montgomery's gone to it with some success. Not enough. That was a really weak effort. That's a nasty one left.
He was affected by it though, Peter. You could tell he was very concerned. Now McGinley.
To win the hole.
Is to win the hole.
McGinley is a very fine ball striker and seems to shave the edge of the hole time and time again. Seems to strike the putts well, but doesn't hold as many as you would think he should, because there doesn't look to be anything wrong with his putting style. He's either desperately unlucky or just doesn't line them up quite right. I think he's a very fine player, but needs to hold a few more putts to move up into the Premier League.
Downhill putt from McGinley. Into the wind and a little left to right.
Yes.
other one shaved the edge of the hole. Oh, we thought it was in. Just turned away from the hole. Just for a half. Just to keep the match square. Oh, lordy, lordy. Well, it was never an easy one, but it was straight in. There was no real borrow on that. He may have just tweaked it a bit left. Just at the wrong time, he misses a short one. So now, Great Britain and Ireland have won one and are up in the other three. Great change around.
Back down the fairway, Lee Westwood about to play the second shot. Darren Clark hitting it right into the fairway. Remember, Bjorn into the bunker. It looks as if he's tugged at that a little bit. He has indeed. Well, he's nearly up to the level. Not too difficult a shot, and if you're 4 up and 4 to play, it's even easier. Considering Bjorn was in the face of the bunker.
Yes, I'm not sure how far his partner can advance that from the sand. Not much of a lip, but there is some.
He's got to pick this off really very clean, Peter. Clean as a whistle. Fly it all the way to the top level. If he does, he'll get a lot of bite on it.
I think he can do it.
That was deeper than I thought he'd go. He's in control of it. That's a beautiful shot from Cheka. I thought it was interesting, Peter, at Augusta last week, that those who drove into the bunker on the right of the first were the ones that came out with the threes. They got the bite. The ones who played in the fairway ended at the back of the green, and many three-putted.
It's been a long discussion here between Casey and Webster what to do with their second shot to the 16th par 5, 538 yards, and they really didn't have very much choice. Although it's downwind, it's uphill, and the ball is sitting down. Casey's just going to have to lay up. Jimenez has already failed to reach the green in 2. Oh, that's not very nice. Almost. In fact, it's gone under our camera buggy.
Free drop. Or drive on. It's been a bit ragged today, our young hero.
You sometimes get the occasion, Peter, where you simply try too hard. That was an awful shot. The camera wasn't in the wrong place. It was the fact.
And there's Mr. Tutt right alongside. How do you play this one, Julian? With a half-open umbrella or what?
With very great difficulty, I would say. Gonna have to engage reverse.
I really don't know what all the discussion's about. If the ball isn't under the tyre, somebody just has a look underneath, and you turn the key, and you press your pedal on the right, and you move off. And well, there it is. But if he runs over it, he has a free drop. Geez, you don't have to be Einstein to keep the game going.
Forward and straight left, he's got to be instructions.
I don't know. The world's gone crook, I tell you.
He's got to go forward and straight left. That's the instruction.
Yeah, hard left and then go.
Right hand down. Right hand down.
No, it's left hand down.
Left hand down. He wants left hand down.
Oh.
Go on.
The mechanic is giving instructions here.
Where's Bob Newhart when you want him?
Oh, we've cracked it.
What a team. What a team. Beautifully driven anyway. In the height of great adversity and the eyes of the golfing world upon him, Dave Beer moving away in fine style. Not quite Schumacher, but in that mould.
I wouldn't fancy now the third shot. Awful lie, pin at the front of the green.
Now, Dave, we need a shot of you. Hurry back to us, baby, and give us a little shot of this. I don't think Casey made a very good fist of his second. It was lying badly, of that I'm sure, but might have found the short grass.
Yes, he had to go left. Now here's Darren Clark. Remember Westwood's second shot missed the green on the left. Another little chip. They've been knocking them in right, left and centre, this pair. And he had a pretty good line there.
Webster's, that wasn't lying too well either. It was all claggy grass. He's given that a great heave-ho, and it's not enough. Oh, that's a horrid place. A horrid place. So, GB and I played 3. Olazabal and Jimenez are about to play their third.
Thomas Bjorn. He has this putt. This for a 3. And he's done it. Well done. And that brings it back to just 3 down.
You're up in the hole in 3. Great Britain Island are 3 up.
Well, 3 down and 3 to play. Can't afford to lose a hole or have a hole. Otherwise it's all over. Now Seve watching anxiously. All the red paint is on the side of Great Britain and Ireland this afternoon. Matches this morning have 2 each.
Now, Jimenez to play. Is it or Ollie? Ollie.
All the tea cases are going on, the jackets, and the cold weather gear. It really has got chilly out here now. I know Lethal, if the pressure was on, this would be a very delicate shot. But it's only his third, and the opposition have already played 3. Not much green to work with. He's got to throw it up in the air and land it very softly downwind.
Well, boldly done, pitched it past the flag, but such was the height of the ball, it didn't have much fizz in it when it hit the ground. So both parties now have played 3. And Casey is, well, he's got a very awkward shot. It's only 5 paces on the green. Please don't do that when I'm talking. Look at those little feet, and their love, ain't love grand, eh? Or nature, I should say. I had a bit of duck last night. There's a hungry monk restaurant in Greystones. It's a lovely little town just down the road from here, which is an absolute delight. If you're in this neck of the woods, you slip in there. Now this doesn't look too bad. It's looks as if he can slide the club under. But you give him half a dozen balls, he might get 1 or 2 close, but this is not easy. Grip it very lightly. Slowly. Oh no, that was not quite delicately done. There wasn't any great, that was just a cut across the ball, slash at it, and it might go up in the air and land close. This match looks as if it's going to be all square in pretty quick time, unless Mr. Webbs can chip this in. That's the only hope he's got.
I don't think the way these two are playing right now is giving a true picture of their ability. They're 2 extremely talented young men, 2 of the most powerful hitters, and great hope in European and British golf is placed upon them. but I think they've succumbed a little bit to the pressure of things, and I have a funny feeling that Casey's just tried too hard in his first outing as a professional representing his nation. Now this is for a 5. He's got to, if he knocks it in, of course, it means the others have got to continue. I think if not, the match will be all square.
Well, the best they can do is 6, and the other 2 have 2 for it from about 10 feet, so really I think we could, come on, pick it up, move. I think Casey's off. Captain Colin and Captain Seve. It's all right. Well, I think they're still putting out here, and they must have very little faith in the Spaniards' putting ability. 3 matches now on the 16th, so somebody's ground the whole thing to a halt. And I think it's Webster, Casey, Jimenez and Olazabal. Jimenez and Ollie, 2 for it from this range. I think I'd be moving on. That's it. Match all square.
Continental Europe win the hole in 5. Match is all square.
There's King zooming round. One of our ace cameramen, person. There she is. And what a little star. And you watch, you can throw you over your shoulder and poof. You don't mess with her, I tell you. Great gal.
Well, the green is now at last cleared. You can see how the flag stands out at this par 5, just right of the camera tower. Very tempting target, but you've seen the bunker right at the front of the flag. Makes the shot tough.
Jacqueline, second shot to 16.
Well, not quite the right direction. Very difficult to get close to the flag.
Huh?
Just 5 yards on from the front edge of the green. Virtually impossible to get it very close.
Now Harrington left with a difficult shot from 90 yards. Pushed his tee shot. McGinley had to lay up to this spot. Flag very close to the front of the green. And as the hole is downwind, he's going to have a certain amount of control, difficulty in controlling the shot.
Asking for the wind, which is probably behind and from the left, just to help it over. He might get a 4 after the 4 tee shot.
Behind on the tee, they're on moving again. Checker. Well, he lost his balance a wee bit, but he's okay.
I tell you, Peter, they're making mincemeat of this hole regarding its length.
Westwood. 3 up. 3 to play. Sounded nice, and swept it away with a long, wide follow through, and that's okay.
Now this 17th hole, a tidy short hole, nothing but water for about the first 150 yards.
Oh, that's magnificent. It's 192 to the pin, and the wind coming into their faces and off the right. Difficult to judge the distance.
Spaniards together here on the teeing ground. Understandably so. Very important stage of the matches. This match, Webster and Casey, 1 up. Main road quite busy there behind the tee. This course situated about 30 miles south of Dublin. Probably about 40 odds from the airport. A pretty busy road south. It's a busy country for traffic, is Ireland. A lot going on here.
Doesn't appear to attack the ball very ferociously, but as those of you that have seen him play, he generates tremendous power, rather like Sandy Lyle did with his sort of three-quarter swing. There weren't many players longer than Sandy in his heyday, and you can still give him a good old whack.
More sand, more trouble. And that's a beautiful bunker shot. Thomas Levey and Jacqueline 1 down against Harrington and McGinley. This is McGinley. He had his first United States Masters last week and finished, I think he was 1 under par. He finished. He's the Europeans accounted very well of themselves. Great many in, guaranteed for an invitation next year. Well inside the top 20. Third shot it was of Harrington that got them level with the flag here, but quite a long way away. Bunker shot, of course, being the third shot of, so things could have. He has to hold his putt because that bunker shot was pretty good. It's a putt of about 12 paces. It's a beautiful putt. You see the marker there? He's annoyed because if you're never up, you're not going to get it. Everybody knows that. But when your opponents are that close, you've got to give it a go. You've got to give it a run at the hole. And so the continental Europe have a putt to win this hole and square the game. So many people using this putter, Peter.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them. I don't think I've got any more room under the stairs for any more putters, so I won't be getting one.
I thought you were going to say something else there, because it is called a belly putter. Not a lot of space there, eh?
Too clever.
Too clever. There is no room. There's the birdie. A very good bunker shot in the putt, and so this match is all square. Between the middle 2 matches, all square. Clark and Westwood, of course, 3 up, 3 to play. They're guaranteed a point, or half a point rather. But things have suddenly turned around. It was all red ink on the Britain and Ireland side a moment ago.
Well, Seve said it might. Thomas Bjorn, he's having a go with something with a bit of loft on, a spoon or a baffy, we used to call them. Wooden-headed clubs with some loft, and now they're all metals and wettles and iron ladies, iron woods, all very confusing. But he gave that a bit of a lash and got it up the fairway. Now Clark, also with a little, looks like a little 5-wood, small-headed metal. Westwood had a good tee shot. He likes it. And that's why. That is a majestic shot. Majestic shot. Yeah, see? Little patty cake, patty cake.
Peter and Alex have been talking about how scenic this place is. This is the lovely 17th. There's water all the way around the green. Actually, quite good crowds gathered all the way around it now as well. In the chill of the day, it really has got cool now as we get towards the end of the day. And this particular game now is becoming a crucial one. There's never been more than one hole in it either way. And now, of course, all square. It's going to be Steve Webster to putt first with a chance of birdie and putting the pressure back on the Spaniards again.
Not going to make it, is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Very close. Well, that's a 3. And now Spanish pairing have a putt to go one ahead. And if you'd had to take the balance or the outcome of this match on experience, the Spaniards are +10 and the others are, well, 4 handicap, because you're looking at someone who's won the Masters a couple of times and a superb player and Ryder Cup experience. Jimenez has, over the last 7 or 8 years, has got better and better and better. So experience-wise, you'd have to bet heavily on the Spanish pair, who now have a chance to go one up. And I can't think of many better people to do the job when it's needed than this man. Hello. It is amazing how, when you've got really class players, how they don't always do it, but how they are able to produce something with cold-blooded efficiency that is really thought out, and the deed is done in cold blood. Conscious competence. Few have it.
Back to the 16th, and a lovely little sand iron shot there from Alex Checker. But that's his 3rd shot, and Clark and Westwood on the green safely in 2.
17th tee, Thomas Bjorn. No, Jacqueline looked like Thomas from the back. Two good holes to finish. Match all square. Oh, nearly pitched it in the hole. Very accurate strike. Wonderful shot.
Now Lee Westwood. He's putting here, his 3rd shot. You can see the marker of the others. They're hoping for some sort of aggressive putt like that one. Now that's just too far away. Come on now. Darren's looking over. Darren's looking.
4. Great Britain and Ireland win the match by 3 and 2.
Darren wasn't moving too quickly towards that with the marker. And that's a very good win. That's the 2nd win for Great Britain and Ireland. 3 up and 2 to play, Clark and Westwood against Alex Checker and Thomas Bjorn. So they have now got safely 4 points tucked tucked away. Be up and 2 to play.
Would you buy a car from any of them?
See the shadow of Seve there towering at the back there with his fist
good.
above their heads.
It's very good.
Here's a good test of Olathable's new driving skill. 465-yard final hole, uphill into the wind, and it really is a long hole now. 3 bunkers up the left-hand side, all ready to catch the unwary, and they're not bunkers you particularly want to be in.
Jimenez, looking his years now. Wind against, did you say, Julian? He's nipped for cover.
It's right into his face.
Right in.
And it's a chilly one.
So we need 2 good strikes to get on the green and get over the water. Now he held that putt on the last hole when he had to. Now he's got to hit a good drive. Now I fancy he'll be aiming at that far bunker up on the left-hand side. Maybe just moving a little left to right, that sort of thing. But he looks to be aiming right. Started it right. He's cut it, surely. Oh, he got away with it. Yeah, he's all right. He was a bit nervy and edgy on the tee, but that's worked out okay. His partner looks on. His Halley's Comet. It really is turning cold. Not good for continuity.
Now McGinley at the 17th. Another match bound to go up the 18th. They're all square, 2 to play. Oh, and a good shot, which is the response to Jacqueline and Levy.
It's the glory of match play situations. It's so much more exciting than medal play, isn't it? Doesn't matter if they're playing scrappy golf, it's still very exciting.
Now Steve Webster, and this has got to be a really good drive. They're 1 behind now, playing the last. Birdies are going to be hard to come by here. Oh, and he's in the last bunker on the left, and that's a horrible position.
Well, it's a horrible position because between him and the green there are 3 great lakes, all like stepping stones they are. There you see, they're all looking back from the green. It looks like one pond, but I can tell you